Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. It's been quite a while since Crimsix has been going absolutely rogue, and he decided yesterday was a good time to do so. Lots of talk about the Dallas Empire time he had this past season, talking about how Shotzzy seemed pretty happy when he dropped him. Plenty else to talk about in today's video. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this is OpTic gaming yesterday. We talked about Censor and his top 10 of all time list, which is, I suppose, somewhat controversial earlier today. Not gonna lie, OpTic Center has a nice ring to it, so kind of interesting. OpTic, like, I mean, I don't know, so much bait going on the timeline the last couple of days. It's tough, honestly, to keep up, and really throughout the off-season, that's what a lot of people say, right, that if Crone didn't do the leaks, that a lot of people are kind of happy that Crone does the leaks for the rosters and stuff, and some of this stuff does come out to the public, because if it wasn't the case, it would just be pros doing baits on the timeline, and well, I suppose organizations as well. This is OpTic as well. Facts, I mean, they replied to this tweet, and OpTic Center, as you can see with the OpTic, the sleeveless jersey, is an absolute classic. But as Doug says this, my mum says that she likes this colour the most because currently playing a pro player for Pioneers GG going into the new year. I think he did another tweet as well, kind of saying how he well, he had some teammates lined up. I have to see how that goes and follow Doug's progress, because to be fair, the first month or so of the game coming out, there's not always too much pro league action. There certainly wasn't last year, so challenges could be where the focus is going to lie once again, and hopefully that cheating product, which pretty much took up the entirety of October last year in terms of discussion points, maybe will not be the case this time around if things go as we hope them to. PaulEhx, of course, is certainly one in a bit of a question mark spot right now. Can't wait to compete again, counting it down the damn days. He was a great player for London for a time when he joined their team, but towards the end of the year, maybe they decided, okay, we can make this work with a fully UK, fully European squad. That seems to be what they're doing. No confirmations, of course, as of yet, but yeah, will PaulEhx find himself a spot somewhere? It's obviously going to be hard. There's only 48 starting spots in the league. The substitute positions, as we talked about earlier on, probably going to be figured out way further down the line. But, well, this from Neptune then, because kind of interesting to think about that there is talk that, of course, the Neptunes joining this new Subliners rumoured squad with Clayster, Crimsix, Neptune, and Hydra, of course. And, well, the thought process there seems to make a fair bit of sense. But Neptune and Crimsix certainly had their few back and forths at the start of the season with the whole auto sprints, you know, drama and beef and the cheating discussion really that went on at the time. Maybe they're going to be teammates now, and Neptune seems pretty happy about the possibility of well, getting on a different team, because Florida maybe wasn't the perfect fit for him coming right into, you know, brand new into the Call of Duty scene, really. The structure and the organisation there, but definitely still a very talented player and very good find for Florida Mutineers if they're going to manage to sell him for a fair bit, which it seems like is going to be the case right now. Crimsix starts going rogue like this yesterday. Be live in 20 minutes on Twitch. Not going to read out the first bit of it, but if you would like to feel free, that's kind of the plumber clip that Shotzzy was kind of hinting at in earlier today's video, that clip I showed you guys. But yeah, Crimsix talking a fair bit, to be honest, here about well, what happened last year with the Dallas Empire, and really only a few weeks ago, right, when he was dropped from this team. And well, he's not necessarily surprised that he was dropped. It goes on to say that yes, like, I think I deserved to get dropped in a way, like I wasn't the greatest teammate I could have been. The rest of my team, you know, I think he also said elsewhere that like everyone could have done a better job in increasing the team chemistry and making sure things were working a little bit better than they ended up doing. But he's not necessarily surprised that he was gone. What he is surprised about is the fact that he was dropped so quickly. Like at less than 24 hours after Champs ends, he got the call to say, okay, you're out of here. And to be fair, Envy and Dallas Empire did that last year when they got rid of Clayster, because it was going 5v5 to 4v4 just after they won the World Championship, which is a positive in the sense that, okay, now he has time to explore more options. But at the same time, I feel like he, you know, maybe felt that he needed a day or so to kind of process the situation, what was going to happen going forwards. He has some very funny words to say on Vivid. I also thought, I honestly kind of thought that Crimsix and Vivid could consider staying together going into the upcoming year. He still seems to get pretty on pretty well with Shotzzy, as we'll look at here in just a second. But you know, first of all, he was doing this. Crimsix is an absolute clown. He was baiting on the timeline about, oh well, really on his Twitch stream about the possibility of Seattle Surge him joining. I mean, the rumors are right now he's going to be joining the Subliners, and Surge does not seem to be having him. A funny clip I'll share with you guys right at the end of the video. This is kind of the screenshot from it with their background here for Seattle Surge. So, you know, Crimsix just loves it, right? And, you know, we love watching it most certainly. But yeah, when he announced himself as a free agent, restricted free agent, it was really a massive surprise to the entirety of the scene. And yeah, well, I mean, obviously Crimsix needs to find himself a new opportunity. But the way he was dropped from this team, the fashion in which he was dropped, potentially by like apparently Rambo and Shotzzy seemed pretty happy about the situation as it was going. I'll share with you guys well, the clips first of all, then we'll look at some of the more detailed context, and I will discuss what this could mean for the future.
Reese was a good teammate, but like it was just, I mean, dude, if you put a gun to my head and said, what is Vivid's last name? Like, I'm going to hell. Or probably not heaven, but probably hell. You know, I'm like, I didn't know anything about him. And to me, it was like, Like I don't want to bash. So in Discord, when you add people, you can see the previous messages in a group. They decided to drop me on Monday, right after champs. Cellium was probably, I don't even know who's 21 on that team, but they probably didn't even wake up yet from the champs celebration by the time I was dropped. And that was like, I don't know. I mean, I just disagree. I mean, I don't, again, to reiterate, I've already talked about this at the start of the stream. I think I should have got dropped. I was a teammate. My performance was a lot better than how I was on the team. And you can borderline hear the smile on their face. It wasn't like fully to that extent, but it wasn't sad by any means. And that was like the weirdest part to me. And I was so thrown off by it. I couldn't even believe it, bro. Dude. And Stro was extremely caught off guard too. Got dropped in one word. I would say happily. I deadass texted Ant afterwards. I was like, bro, the fact that you sounded happy when you gave me a reason was like, frankly, just, I mean, I was sitting there like, dude, now I'm pissed the off. Like, now I'm mad, dude. You know?
So as everyone Venom does here on the Reddit, I mean, a fantastic job putting together pretty much everything that was said on the stream last night. I'll leave this link down below if you guys want to check it out. We might be talking about some of this stuff for coming days, to be honest, as well. But well, talked about the Huke situation real quick. Crimsix was telling Huke to adapt according to where his teammates were, what the opponents were doing, etc. Rambo Ray, on the other hand, had potentially a bit of a conflict between the leadership management styles of Crimsix and Ray. On the other hand, had a huge document full of situations like, if this happens, then Huke does this. If this happens, then Huke does that. So maybe a bit of conflict there between Crimsix and Rambo in terms of how they wanted to structure the team. And then, of course, he goes in to take a bit of a sig break, and then how he got dropped right. So apparently ILLey wasn't on the call. Likely, ILLey was still asleep or something. Was likely, sleeping, as he says right here. It was a Discord call with Ray, Stro, and Ant. Stro was very sad that Hastro, of course, like former CEO of Envy, now kind of chief gaming officer or whatever he's doing. But you guys know Hastro. Apparently, he was really sad, understandably so, right? Given that, Crimsix, he's kind of wanted to be on his organizations for years. And when it finally happens, within a couple of seasons, it seems to not be the case anymore. But apparently, Rambo and Shotzzy, as was discussed in that clip right there, sounded pretty happy. Like, so points Ray brought up were all correct, apparently, during the call. Hastro stroked for a couple of minutes, and, Shotzzy spoke a sentence or so, something along the lines of, it's what it is, dude, you were late, etc. And the Tony said, piss Grim off, and he texted, Shotzzy later saying, next time you do it, don't do it sounding happy. ILLey, when he heard about it, started breaking down and was quite sad, apparently. So, crazy story, really, that Crimsix comes out with right here in its entirety. He does say, like, he, kind of was a bad teammate, not necessarily a massive surprise to get dropped, but still, the kind of, the drama maybe here between Shotzzy, like saying, okay, Shotzzy seemed pretty happy to get rid of him. You do have to wonder what that means going forward, right? Because Shotzzy, I mean, dropping the greatest player of all time, if Shotzzy was kind of like one of the guys behind it being like, okay, yeah, let's just get rid of Grim, that's going to give us our best chance of winning. It's pretty cold-blooded, right, from a guy like Shotzzy. And of course, we don't really know what that means going forwards. Nice to see that Crim and ILLey seem to still be on good terms here. But definitely an interesting question mark. Of course, we saw this a while ago from the flank as well, how, there was good kind of discussion between both ILLey and Shotzzy wanted to drop him, and the LOL comes out in the reply, which we looked at. So, okay, it's really interesting, and especially if Shotzzy does go on to join this OpTic team. I saw some people saying the replies, like everyone's kind of, feeling, talking about Shotzzy as this cold blood like killer. But as soon as he goes into next year, and maybe Scump isn't performing on the team, right? Obviously, this is all speculation. But then Shotzzy's going to be like, all right, it's time to get Scump out of here, right? Like, it obviously does that work one way or another. But interesting insight, really, into the personalities that some of these players have. And well, this, of course, a massive surprise when Dallas came out and said, yeah, today we bid farewell to the 3-time world champion, winningest player of all time. Where he goes next, yet to be decided, or well, maybe not yet to be decided, but yet to be announced at the very least. Thanks for bringing over world championship at Crimsix. No surprise that Hastro was frustrated and disappointed really at the situation. And Vivid as well. I mean, that clip that Crimsix, how he was like, I don't even know Vivid's last name. That was absolutely hilarious. But kind of interesting because I thought these guys got on pretty well together. But and Vivid now in a difficult spot for even finding a spot for next year after a pretty solid season. season, all things considered from him, I thought. And well, of course, there was then the Shotzzy question, right? Like, how cold-blooded actually is this guy? Dropping the greatest player of all time, seeming pretty happy about it. Crimsix certainly not happy on the other side of things, and now finding himself on potentially a new named organization next year on the OpTic Dallas or whatever it's going to be called, and you know, what the future might hold over there. So definitely some interesting storylines with every single day, more storylines coming out on the timeline. This as well I just wanted to touch on real quick from the amateur side, because supposedly there's a top 25 amateur players in the world list coming out. Maybe Breaking Point are going to be involved, not really sure. But anyway, a lot of these amateur players that maybe heard about some of this stuff that may be coming out over the coming days are not necessarily too happy about it. It's something to keep your eyes on, because you know, it's obviously difficult to rank challenger players, and every time you do so, someone's going to be frustrated, someone's going to be pretty happy. And well, some of the replies right here. These top 25 lists have me dizzy just looking at these. Wow, can't believe some of these people, so I guess like analysts and stuff like that are actually voting in these. You know, some of these people get paid to be stupid all year long. And well, we get this as well from Casey Powder. Some of these top 25 lists, some of y'all off the booth pack. So yes, looking forward to seeing how this turns out over the coming days. And just to finish off with this as well, I mean, Crimsix, of course, you know, with the whole Seattle Surge situation, definitely a pretty funny clip to finish off the job. But yes, very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really upset that YouTube are going to know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
TacticalRab, you're welcome. You know what? It's alright, I'm fine with paying your mortgage.